Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining today. This is your host Nino, greeting you to a truly special episode in which we shall explore acoustic coupling from a public payphone. Now, that is something you have seen in movies like War Games, 23 Sneakers, I believe Hackers, if memory serves right. The Terminatrix in Terminator 3 did something similar. And I do tell you, in the course of the adventure, I learned to appreciate the plight of Neo and Trinity in finding a working phone. Now, the reason I'm so certain that this is going to work out is I know this because Tyler knows this, or in other words, the introduction to this video is actually happening after the entire adventure, and you shall see, therefore, how it came to be. In the last about quarter of an hour of the video, you will see the actual connection happening. And before that, you're going to see weird moments, and I hope you will enjoy them. So, without further ado, let's go ahead with the show. Let us first have a basic overview over the schematics of this experiment. What is to be accomplished is simple. A server machine shall be controlled by a client machine in such a way as if you were sitting in front of the server machine and doing things there. To this end, the client shall receive from the server a text-based shell, that is a command line interface in which the client can type out commands and the server shall undertake some processing and deliver results back, as if you were reading its screen, as if you were typing on its keyboard. This control shall be conveyed via the public phone network. And that is the main idea here. Now, let's go into some details as to how exactly that is happening and why it is a bit tricky. The server is connected quite simply to the public phone network via a device known as a modem, modulator and demodulator, a classical analog modem, the same way people used in the 90s and beginning of the 2000s in order to connect to their internet providers. This is a device which is turning computer signals to sound and back. Only now you're not dialing anyone, but the modem is being set up to wait for a call. And if someone calls, it picks up the call and tries to establish a sensible connection where text can be exchanged with the computer acting as server. So if you call that, it will just pick up and beep in your ear. Calling home has been one of the classical purposes of public payphones for decades, even as they have nearly disappeared from the public space. But as someone said, if the world ends, I'm moving to Vienna, Austria, for there everything is happening 50 years later. And with a little bit of luck, one can still find here a public payphone, which over the landline will establish the desired call. So it calls and it gets connected. And then it beeps in your ear wherever you are. Great. But you would like to transfer control to the client, right? So something else needs to be done too. Now what is evident is that the client too will need to translate computer signals into sound and sound into computer signals. So it possesses its own analog modem, the client modem. The trouble is that the client modem has two connectors, one to the computer and one expecting a cable to a wall socket. You can't actually shout at the client modem and get your screams translated to computer signals. It doesn't work that way. But there is no wall socket to connect the cable to in the park or in train stations or wherever you are. So what to do? And there I came up with a setup many years ago that I shall be showing in many other videos. And that is to give the client modem a sort of speaker and microphone by connecting it to yet another landline phone. Just a cheap landline phone, cheapest in the shop you can find. And this landline phone itself will want to be connected by a phone cable to the phone socket in the wall, right? So what happens then if you connect the client with the cable to the phone with the cable? First, nothing, because unfortunately that cable needs to be powered. So you've got to cut it open, and you will find there two wires. Split one wire into two and connect the two ends of this wire to an 18-volt power source. And then the line will be powered, and both the client and the client phone will be able to talk with each other. And what then happens is that if you talk into the client phone, it will translate that chirping to the client modem. And if the client modem is beeping back then over our own internal network, it's just going to beep it out via the client phone's speaker. And that then you can connect to the payphone's receiver. And if you connect microphone to speaker and speaker to microphone, then you are achieving what is known as acoustic coupling. So pairing the devices in such a way that they can chit-chat, and that is what one can slightly hear. This is tricky to establish, for outside influences easily can disturb that connection, thereby voiding the control connection between client and server. Now, in order to do the whole thing, you need to tell the modems what to do. This is one of the trickier parts of this. So before the client can talk to the server, the client needs to persuade its modem to act properly, and the server needs to persuade its modem to act properly. And if you then call and the modems act properly, then the text control connection between client and server will be established as demonstrated in this video. Enjoy! Concerning the setup at home, you absolutely need a cyberpunk aquarium. Okay, jokes aside, this is the Linux machine that will be taking the call. This machine is connected via a USB to RS-232 adapter to the cable of the modem. Now, concerning the modem setup in software, that's the first thing you need to do before you can connect to the computer. In essence, you need to do two things to establish a connection. First, you need to make it so that a call can be accepted by the modem, and that, so to say, the local serial port will become ultimately connected to the remote phone. And in a second step, you need to decide what you would like to run on that serial line. So here you see how I have connected to the modem itself. I have been using the Picocom program at 9600 baud with no parity, 8 data bits, 1 stop bit, no flow control, and the device TTY USB 0. Down there, I have set in two modem commands, ATE1, that means type what I am writing. Some modems are silent. This by nature isn't. It's a bit more old-fashioned, but some newer ones might just not say anything. And then comes my modem setup string, which essentially has the task of setting the modem control lines to a state amenable to acoustic coupling, and in particular the S37 equal to 1 setting means give it a speed of 300 baud, and here S0 equal to 1 means auto answer. So once you have set up Picocom like that, the modem should now answer calls automatically. And I will now call home to see will we hear the modem beeping. So here, call. Yeah. Yeah. In other words, the setup is operational. And as many times as I call, as many times should it do this. And you should do that too. Hey. Oh no, I'm getting modem beeping. So now we know that principally the modem would answer as often as one calls. And that of course is good news, because it means we can progress to the second step of the experiment, and that is to let something run on that serial line, right? Sincere apologies to the fish, by the way. Control A, Control Q. Right. So then you're getting out of Picocom, but you're not resetting the TTY. So whatever you set up in the modem stays the way it should be. And as a final step, let us strike up a SOCAT listener. So to explain you this command, this first part is a little optional. This turns off line buffering and everything is being input and output character by character. I love to have that when doing modem experiments, so as to avoid something hanging until it gets a new line. Then comes the actual SOCAT command. This whole thing is one line. SOCAT is a command similar to netcat, right? Where you can connect your standard input and output to some network connection. Well, SOCAT is just doing this on a more common level, where something is connected to something else. And the one something that is being connected is TTY USB 0, and the other something it is being connected to is the shell. So connect the serial port to the shell. This is in essence what this is doing. In other words, when somebody logs into the serial port, then he gets immediately a shell. Forgive me for skipping the login setup with getty and whatnot. This is just a quick and dirty way to get a terminal on a serial line, so to say, no questions asked. I'm now on my way to search for a phone booth. Now you see, it's July, but the city of Vienna is greeting me with weather as if it were a cold autumn day, and making the search all the more pleasant. And the thing is, I have to admit, I'm rather comfortable with the entire modem story. I know what I'm doing there, but I haven't been using a phone booth for 20 years, and I'm more apprehensive of that part. Will I be able to find a working one? And will it be on a place quiet enough to do the entire thing? For, you see, if it is on some loud corner of the street, I actually can forget it. Yeah, that will be interesting. Wish me luck, and let's see how this turns out. This is so mega frustrating. Well, I did find a quieter phone booth and made my mega totally inconspicuous setup. Unfortunately, this machine is free calls only, and issues such as this, loud machine, broken machine, machine with issues, are more common than not. Westbahnhof train station. Let's try my luck here. In the past, such SOS points were a certain place where to find a phone booth, but nowadays they are just such pillars, completely useless to our purpose. Now these are the phone booths I had in mind, but just look at the experience. And the question is whether this extremely dirty final one would be operational at all or not. It is. Essentially, it does not work because it is extremely quiet. So while my deposit is being decreased, I cannot hear a thing from this completely blocked and rotten speaker. My experiments at Vienna Westbahnhof were eventually cut short after having been approached by what I believe to have been an extremely aggressive gang related to drug dealing. They appear to be very concerned that I am somehow impinging upon their technology, and as they watched the laptop and the codes and the modem, it came to their minds to accuse me of being apparently their competition and proceeded to film me for their handlers. I, in turn, decided it would be a fun idea to film them back, whereupon they very swiftly discovered the warm and fuzzy cover of anonymity, but still proceeded to film me from around the corner. Now, be it as it may, this was all not very conducive to the course of this experiment, and so I decided to proceed elsewhere. I found an older-fashioned phone booth next to a park, and it is operating loud and clear, and I can do calls with it. Unfortunately, it seems that the general environment is too loud to establish the connection. You can hear it right now next to me, and moreover it is taking only €1 coins, whereas I had only €2 coins for this adventure, with the exception of one €1 coin, and is presently giving me no carrier. So the experiment should be repeated here, and I believe that we can establish a connection, but it would have to be at a time of the day when it is just less busy. So, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of days have passed, and I found again my cozy phone booth, which actually had a working payphone, and we are now ready to attempt the experiment. So in this box here, hidden within the clothes, I may show that afterwards in more clarity, is the actual acoustic coupling connection, where a phone receiver is coupled to a phone receiver of the payphone. I'll have then to press this little black button here in order to activate things, throw in coins and trigger everything. My phone, the blue phone, is connected via an 18-volt powered internal phone cable to a modem. So the modem can actually talk to my blue phone, and the blue phone will then talk to the payphone. Scissors and duct tape are necessary in order to press the receivers against each other, like duct tape them. Lots of newspapers are necessary because everything is incredibly dirty, and I start to understand Sheldon Cooper concerning his bust trousers. Money is ready for the machine. The modem setup on the serial line on my trusty MacBook has just been performed, and now I am ready to actually dial home and try to establish the connection. Alright, so taking 50 euro cent here, and these are gonna go in. Let's first say I'm here. Hi. The minute costs 30 cents. Will I even be able? You know what? I can actually put in 150. Okay, it registered it. It's a very old-fashioned machine, and it will not take €2 coins, unfortunately. Okay, so 150 I got. That should be enough for 5 minutes of modem time. Now I am saying here ATD. It's ready to dial. Of course, it's not dialing anything. The dialing is happening here, which I shall do off screen. Okay, it's dialing home, and I'm pressing ATD here. Unfortunately. I have a connect. Yes. I have a connect. This is wonderful, but unfortunately it does not react. Well, I'm now going to end the talk. Yeah, that's it. I give up. I got my euro back! Excellent. So I now have enough money as if to pay Haron in order to make the experiment again, this time properly. Now I'm baffled. Something might be up with my socket command. I'm going to try a variant of this. Let's try now with that. Wish me luck. and let's try variants until something succeeds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's try again. With the caveat being that I discovered an issue with my modem at home. Apparently, it can get stuck in a rut of sorts, in that it doesn't answer a call sometimes, and if that occurs, it does not answer subsequent calls either. Wish me luck. Everything has been set up, ladies and gentlemen, and action. So, turning on the machine. Okay. So, 30 cents per minute. We're fine with that. €1 has been charged. I am preparing here to say ATD for dialing. And now, after this ridiculously loud guy, let's call home. Give me a second of privacy. Alright, on goes the show. Why did it put it down? And unfortunately my modem is doing this funny thing where it just doesn't answer. May have to change it. Okay, something's going wrong. Slight change of plans, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing here the server, that is the machine which we're trying to reach. And it turns out that a too long modem initialization string may lead to the modem ignoring parts of it, because every little command takes some time to complete. And if too many commands are coming at once, the modem might not be able to keep up, with the consequence of it simply breaking off the connection. So here you see what SOCAT line I shall try it with this time. And I changed the modem itself too, just to make sure that things are getting a little variated, to a US Robotics 5637 model. This is certainly my favorite model of a modem all over. So let's see whether I can reach this machine from the outside. Happy youngsters dancing in immediate proximity to my phone booth. Well, that surely does ruin the experiments for now. I hope they have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, so back we are. Here at the phone booth that I already know sort of by heart, with the second one of my coins for Haron. Let's see whether Hermes, the god of messages, and Haron, the god of transferring you through that technology, I assume, are going to be helping me handle this. So we're now charging the automat with €1. And I have connected here a greatly simplified system, namely one involving just an US Robotics 5637 modem. And now I shall try to dial home and... okay, need to do the whole thing again. I shall now try to dial home and see whether I will be getting a valid connection, and they shall. So, okay, and here ATD, punk. So ATD here, I just dialed. Ha! And I got a shell, so I'm home. Very good. PWD. Am I in desktop? I am in my desktop. Oh my god. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I did not hear the connection because this time apparently my pants were able to isolate everything perfectly well. But yes, I do have now a connection to my home computer. Can I run? No, come on. Can I run ECL? Embeddable Common Lisp. Wow. So, oh, Hermes and Haron, thank you very much. I am now running an artificial intelligence system. So times 6 and 7, and the answer is 42. Yes, everything is working wonderfully. I'll be having just about a couple of seconds left, I believe. 72 cents are left. Let me just retry that thing, which we can now call a full success. I mean, this is absolutely clear this has worked, but just so that we witness the connection itself. So I'm going to press here plus 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 in order to get into the modem command mode again, and I'm going to say ATH in order to hang up the modem. I hung up, so now the connection has been terminated, and I should terminate it over here too. So where's this little black button? Terminating the connection. And here you can see that I still have some money left, so 58 cents. I might be able to call again, and then hopefully you know, hopefully I can hold it that we see the actual connection. So I'm dialing now the number again in order to get home. Okay, and I'm saying ATD. I can hear the modem sounds remotely. This connect not found. This is clear. This is the error message basically generated because the modem is telling the shell connect, and the shell doesn't know what it is connecting to, but it means this is it. We are having an acoustic coupling connection on 30th July at 23:04. Yeah, if I say date, then there you have it. I think I should be even able to browse the bbc.com. Any chance? No, I'm not. Okay, I know why. I removed the wireless, unfortunately. I don't have right now there any network interface. I have there my Linux machine, which absolutely always needs its wireless stick, and I think in this case I just didn't use it. So I'll have to exit the browser, because if we look at the network interfaces with ifconfig, you will see there is, yeah, only an Ethernet interface and a loopback interface, but no wireless interface. So, yeah. And this is some for a virtual machine. So okay, I cannot browse, but I can run Lisp. I can maybe look at directories. Is Midnight Commander working? Huh? Wow, so oh, you see here Midnight Commander being built up in a phone booth. In a phone booth, ladies and gentlemen. I so much love every moment of this adventure. You know, it's not some old, I don't know, military system with Xenix or VMS, but I tell you, this is surely good enough. I mean, I love it. Okay, I'll get out of here though, because this navigation is annoying me. Yeah, so I'm back at this. Is there... Am I gonna run ed hi.txt? Okay, great. There's no such file or directory. I'm fine with that. So I'm appending something. Hi there from the phone booth. How did I get out of here? Oh my god, I captured myself in ed and somehow can't get out. Ah, great. So cat hi.txt. Forgive my little errors, I'm way too excited. So I did create a file in a phone booth. What else shall we do? I mean, we have 74 cents left. I can list directories, huh? So this is this Hollywood user interface where everything is extremely slow. I think I have some notes here in this tsx.txt regarding the operating system TSX32. Let's have a look at these. So, will it be so slow in building up the text as they show in the movies? It is pretty bad, but not terribly bad. It is actually, you know, if this is the way text files are displayed, it is true that it is as fast as a reasonable person can normally read. Okay, let's run basic, BWBASIC. Yeah, we need to run basic, please. 10 4 I is equal to 1 2 20 20 print the square of I. 30 next I, and run. Yes, so I have been running also basic. Let's get out of here. With 46 cents left, I'm not very sure that I can do a C compile of whatever, but I certainly can check for the version of GCC. GCC running in the phone booth. Okay, very good, very good. So, who's there? Yeah, that's me. Huh? Let's look at the process listing. PS ELF. And I can hear the chirping of the crickets. The cars are not quite as loud as during the day, and I basically don't hear the modem communication inside the acoustic coupling at all. I will show you the acoustic coupling in a second. So let's show this whole thing again. So this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the entire experiment. You see the computer running in the phone booth. In classical times, when there was still in-band signaling, that is, when sound from the phone could control the apparatus itself, it was possible to generate specific tones that would allow you to have phone calls even for free, even long distance calls for free, and so on and so forth. So this method was considered a little bit, you know, a strange manner of connection, because questions could arise whether you're doing it for free. Of course, as a law-abiding citizen, and a lawyer indeed, I'm not engaging in any of these things, but this is why you are seeing that in the old movies that much. I think we are about to get interrupted because there are 4 cents left, but let's see how exactly the interruption will happen. That's it. Yeah, my my money's out. Yeah, the machine tells me that. And zunk! No carrier. Ah, what a brutal and suitable ending to today's experiment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at 23:15, this entire adventure ended, but it was worth it, and I very much hope you enjoyed it. This is the actual acoustic coupling segment, the actual phone receiver cradled in the self-made cradle. So that was the element that made the whole connection possible. That was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to greet you here soon again for further adventures. If not a subscriber yet, please consider joining our friendly club. See you hopefully soon. Until then, have a wonderful time. Thank you for watching, and from me, goodbye.